Hello. Happy Wednesday, guys. Hello, hello. Mike will be here soon. We are having not the storm that they're having in Tennessee and Arkansas right now. It's like 80 something degrees outside, but it is windy. We've had like 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts come through, and we just planted a bunch of stuff yesterday and moved every animal that we have like 4 times. It was a whole thing. I'll get into that in a minute. Um, but anyway, uh, he's battening down some stuff right now just to make sure that everything's kosher. Our real bad storm with like thunder, lightning, heavy rains isn't supposed to hit till Saturday with, I don't even like to say it, with the potential for tornadic activity, is Saturday. But I know they're like Tim right now at Ridge Life. We've been checking in with him and he's okay right now, but they're on a watch and it's east of him. Um, so yeah, and then Arkansas, they had their sirens go off over by Tara and Jason at White Rock, and they're having some flooding, like the creeks and everything. So they're getting some weather, and it's managing. There we go. Hopefully it's happy now. Let's see if it's working now. Let's see. I think I fixed it. You guys tell me if you can see me. Hello, Dan. What's going on? It rolled through here at 8 a.m. this morning in Oklahoma. Yeah. 30 minutes south of White Rock. Okay. I'm back. Yay, I fixed it. So happy I learned my new trick on how to do that when it stalls out. Whoop, whoop. I don't know why it did it either. It said I had full Wi-Fi. It just, for whatever reason, it got cranky for a second. So it's fine. I'm back. I'm 5x5. Whoop, whoop. That's right. That's right. That's an old reference. I love it. It got made popular by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then it kind of came back a little bit. I say it once in a while. Got used on Gilmore Girls once. 5x5. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I'm back. But anyway, so Mike was just battening down all the hatches and getting everything situated. I did a bunch of planting. I had ordered my Wandering Jew, and the rest of my hostas came, and my little weeder, my grandpa's weeder thing that pulls the dandelions out. If y'all have been debating, because I had debated a while about getting one of these things, it's called a grandpa's weeder, and you stick it in the middle of the weed, and then you step on the little pedal, and then you just take your foot off it and you tilt it towards the little pedal. It just pops the whole thing right out, roots and all. Some weeds it takes out better than others. Like the dandelions, it does really easily. Some of the other ones that are like weirder weeds, I sometimes have to do 2 or 3 times to get like the whole thing if it's really big. But if I can stay on top of it now that I have that tool, because they all sprung up like really fast. But I did like this whole front section. I missed a couple over here, but I got most of them. I gave up. My back was done after planting everything. But I did all my hanging planters. I planted the rest of my hostas. So will it work on Mike? I don't know. If he acts up, might find out. Our fiber internet's been acting up as well lately. Yeah, well, I think more. I did hear that Val Kilmer passed away. I just told Mike a couple of minutes ago. I heard about that this morning. Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, thank you, Paul. um, yeah, if he acts up, I can just stab him with it, step on it, and then yank it out by the roots. Yeah, sure. But so I did do a lot out there this morning, and then we had moved, and I didn't film much of it because we had our hands full. But if you guys have watched Sippin' and Spill a few days, on Monday I went and picked up 5 lambs, 5 young ewes, and we decided we weren't going to put them in the top paddock because we were letting that ground recover, and we were going to put them in the bottom paddock. Well, the lambs, unbeknownst to us, the wire was out. The hot wire had gone out, and mind you, I had lit myself up on it like 2 days prior, so we did not realize it was out, and they just went right through it. Kusi came through it. They ran the other way. They got out into the big pasture. They got out into the creek, and we were like, great. This is wonderful. So we ended up herding them all into the biggest, newest paddock and left everybody in there. We moved, well, not everybody, we moved the dogs to the top paddock because the introduction with them went terribly because they all snuck into each other's things, and so they didn't get introduced like we wanted. It was an absolute nightmare. Anyway, so then now the dogs are in with uh the goats and Sai, and yesterday we moved all the lambs up to the top paddock, which is like our holding pen that's got goat paneling all around it. So like they can't get through that. And we're gonna add a hot wire to the inside so we can hot wire train them. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that right now. Hello, lonely hitchhiker Kent. So but I like to teach my quadrupeds that like I don't give them sweet feed or treats like on a regular basis, but it's a nice like trump card to have in my pocket when I need them to do something in a hurry or I need them to move or whatever. It's a good way to get them to trust me when they don't know me yet. So I'm working with the littles. I gave them a little bit of sweet feed today. I waited till they went over to the bucket. I went in the pen. They scattered a little bit. I came over and shook the bucket and just waited. They were kind of coming over and I was able to pet a few of them. So they're in another week I can walk up to them and pet them. There's one that I know is going to be my challenging one. It's about a month older than the others and it came from a separate person. The four came together and then the one was separate. And that one is a little older and a little more skittish. So that one's going to take longer for me to win over. I can already tell. But there's one that Frankie named Milky Way because of its pattern that it has on it. It's really a cute little lamb. It's got kind of a mottled brown and tan patterns on its face specifically, and then a little bit in other places, but the bulk of its body is white. So she named it Milky Way, which we're not naming these ewes, but that one stands out because it's the one that got out the more times. It got out again yesterday in the morning and went all the way down into the creek through the water. I had to push it back up the hill. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So it's been a busy couple of days. It's been busy. I just harvested my first asparagus and I ate it 15 minutes ago. There's one more up, but it was too muddy to get it. They weren't there yesterday. They grow fast. Yeah. It's weird how they grow because it's literally like not what you would think if you don't know what an asparagus looks like. It's just, I mean, you know what an asparagus looks like, but when it grows, it's just one that comes out. It's weird, which makes sense when you look at sometimes how expensive they are. So, David Glunt, what's going on? Hey, Sid, I'm late doing a project on the lathe for Mike. Oh, nice. Can only work on it when my back and neck let me. I hear that. I've definitely done too much the last few days, and I can feel it in my old arthritic body. But, we got to do what we got to do. Like I think yesterday, I think my thing said I walked 20,000 steps, and that was without getting my workout in yesterday. So that was just chasing lambs, like literally. So you never know. I knew you wouldn't trust you if you were offering me sweets. Right, Paul? I'm telling you. But I got to get them to trust me because that's my whole thing. It's easier for me to work with the animals to get them to do, like right now, I had to move Sai a couple times in the last couple days, and all I had to do was be like, let's go, and he'll follow me. He got a little anxious when we got to the one gate and he just kind of turned around and like waited. So I did end up getting a little bit of sweet feed to like pull him the rest of the way. But like I didn't even have to give him any. I just had to like follow him with the bucket and let him have it for 2 seconds and then I just took it away. So it's like a treat. And they know that. So it's, and it works because then I can get them to, when I'm by myself, I can move as many as I need to. Well, within reason. I couldn't probably, move a whole flock of 50 with one bucket of feed. But if I can get them to trust me and understand the drill and, baby steps. So, because I don't like feeding them sweet feed. It's not like, oh, this is part of their regular feed or anything like that. This is simply a tool to get them to like tame up, to get them to trust me, to get them to the point, because I can walk up to Si, I can lift up all his feet, I can lift his tail up and look, make sure his poop is healthy. I can check his balls. I can do whatever I need to do on him, and he just stands there for me. And I need to get the girls that way too, so that they're like, oh, mom's just checking our hooves, or mom's just checking my butt, or mom's just needs to look at my eyeball, you know, and make sure everybody's cool, you know. But Mike was giving me a hard time because then he was like, the animals were just all fighting us the other, the other day. And it was just an absolute mess. But it is, these things happen, stuff happens. And anyway, he was like, I went out to the shop and I was planting plants and I was transplanting them. And not a single one of them ran away or fought me or didn't do what I told it to do. And I was like, yeah, but where's the fun in that? So where's the fun in that? I'm just saying. I know Mike's listening. He's in the room, sort of, you know. Where's the big guy? He's coming. He's coming. He's finishing up. He was getting some stuff kind of settled down. We've had some like 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts today. We're not in the storm that's happening right now in like Tennessee and Arkansas areas, and I guess in Georgia too. I heard somebody say something about it like towards Atlanta or whatever. I don't know. I might have heard that wrong, but that's what I thought I heard. But we just have these big, it's like 80 something degrees out, and we have these big wind gusts that have been going all day. So he was just battening down some hatches basically and finishing some stuff up for work, and then he'll hopefully be out here soon. So I'm getting an MRI on my neck and lower back on the 9th. Ooh. Well, I hope they're able to give you some answers and do something for you to help alleviate some of the pain and discomfort. Neil S., is that how you get Mike to do things? Yeah, I give him a little bucket of sweet feed and then he follows me around. No, I think it's more like a can of Chorus Light, but whatever works. Whoa, is Sid talking about Mike on her or her reel? Frankie doesn't try these things. Which things? The sweet feed? I don't know. I don't know, Joe. I don't know. Yeah. What? Oh, I read that wrong. Yesterday was leg day. Yeah. Well, if you guys know, if you've seen that bottom pasture, it's hilly. It's a hill going down and it's a hill coming up, and then it's a hill once you get inside, and then you got it, so there was a lot of running up and down that hill in muck boots, which running in muck boots is not ideal. And my muck boots that I really, really like, I broke like really bad. Now I know they do have a lifetime warranty on them, but they were part of a sponsorship, and so I feel bad calling them in on it because I didn't pay for them in the first place. But I know I should, but I won't. But anyway, those are my favorite monk boots, the ones that I wear all the time. And I have another pair that they gave me that I wear, but they don't have the same tread. And so I fall down a lot more in those. They're a different style, and I'm not as big a fan. They're comfortable-ish. They're not as good as my other ones by the same company. They're cute. They have chickens all over them, but they're not as functional, in my opinion. So, but the lambs are all doing great. I'm slowly gaining their trust, but I swapped out the water troughs. I put the big water trough in with the goats and the small water trough in with the lambs, and got everybody fresh minerals and did all the things. And so, just kind of running around and getting all that stuff done today and pulling the weeds and doing some planting. And I did not get, if you guys noticed, I did not get a video out on Tuesday because all of this happened with the lambs getting out, and we had to go to Moores and Pontotoc and get more fencing and then come home and deal with that. So I ended up not finishing the video that I was working on because it was going to be a longer video anyway. It's probably going to be close to an hour video when I finish. And I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through now, maybe not quite 3/4, but close to it. And so I still have some more editing to do with that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to post the video that was supposed to post on Tuesday. I'm going to post it on Friday. And then the video that was supposed to post on Friday about getting the lambs and getting them settled is going to post on Sunday, I think is what we're going to do, barring any more catastrophes or barring not being able to edit because of weather or something like that. So yeah, I know I should. I feel bad though because it was part of a sponsorship deal, and I know it has a lifetime warranty, but like I don't know. I feel bad. I'll just wait till the next time they want to work with us again because we work with them like 4 or 5 times, and I'll just be like, "Can I get this model of boot again because mine broke." Like that's how much I wear them and what I put them through. So to move the animals on her own. Oh, she actually lifted up. She was, and I did not get this on film, unfortunately, because it was one of those things. We were, she decided she was going to pick Sai up, and Sai is not light. He's a big, chunky boy, and he's only getting bigger. So he probably weighs about what she does right now. He's probably, 115-ish, 120-ish, somewhere in there. And she just hulked him up and carried him down the hill because she didn't feel like messing with the other animal. Anyway, she just picked him up and carried him. And I was like, okay, that works. She also caught a couple lambs kind of in midair that were trying to jump over us when we were herding them. And I wish I had that on film. I had it set up on the tripod. I was going to let it run, but part of it, Mike was filming us, and so we put it down and we didn't film the rest of it. And then we decided that was the first night, and then because then it turned into a mess, and we wouldn't have even known if we were, yeah. Sometimes you can't film everything because unless you have somebody who's the like when Mike and Frankie are working and I'm the dedicated filmer, I can get everything. But like when we're all working on something like this and there's chaos happening, it's impossible. It's impossible. So we got some of it on film, but not everything. The end result was everybody ended up in the correct pens, with the exception of once the lambs are big enough and hot wire trained to go into the other paddock and be strip grazed, the female goats will be with them. Sai and Dan will be together in their own paddock. So that way, couple reasons. Granted, I realize that Anne and Caroline, being goats, are not the same species as Sai is, being the ram, being a sheep. However, ideally, you don't want him to have any female interaction that could cause him to lessen his urgency to want to be with the ewes when he's with the ewes during the time we want him to breed. So keeping them separate is going to be important. But right now, he's not there yet. I mean, he could, but he's not there yet. So I have I have a little bit of time, and it'll happen soon because these lambs are going to get, they get big quick, to where they won't be running out. And then we'll swap who needs to be swapped. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Pettit Jean, River Homestead, Bobby, I hope you're staying safe too. You're getting boots, call them nothing ventured, nothing gained. True, I know. But then it's like one more thing I have to do is call them, and I might. We'll see. We'll see. I might. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, she's strong. I know, no worries. You had your own catastrophes going on. Poor Jen. Her dog, she was going to ride with me to go pick up the lambs, which getting the lambs was smooth like butter. I made it up there, no problem. I made it back. No, got them loaded, got home, no problems. Got them unloaded, no problems. It wasn't until thought we were done that all the chaos happened. But it's fine. Everything's fine. But she had her one dog got into apparently dryer sheets and then had to go to the ER because he ate the dryer sheets and was sick. And then her horse got out, so she had to fix that corral. And it was just like there was something else I think she said too. But anyway, it was just, when it rains, it pours. There's something. There's always something. Yeah. And then I had asked my friend Beth, and she was like, "Oh, I can't because I have to take my dad to I think that was the day she had to take her dad to the doctor." Oh no, she was going to take Miss Ann that day. I don't remember, but anyway, whatever it was ended up not happening. So it was a whole thing. But I don't mind driving by myself. It was actually kind of a nice, relaxing drive by myself. Just kind of did my thing, you know, no big deal. Can't say a girl's right. Will you put a dog with the females and one with the males? Um, so probably what we're gonna do, it's gonna depend on where everybody is. For now, as they're being strip grazed on the pastures that can all be seen together, I'm gonna keep the dogs together with the lambs, basically. Once the lambs are in that area, they'll be together. When we are pasturing the flock out in like the back main big giant pasture and that's sectioned off, the dogs will be out there with them. Um, I may or may not split them at that point, depending on how everything's looking and how the dogs are behaving. They do work better in pairs, and sometimes when you split them, they don't. They're they're not they're not happy. So I'm gonna have to see, kind of play that part by ear a little bit. I would like to have one up top that keeps the birds safe, that keeps the other animals up here safe, and then one with the flock. But if I need to keep both of them down with the flock, I will. Um, we may at some point be getting like down the road once our flock is much bigger, getting like a collie to help with the herding. Um, but for now, I'm the collie. Hence why I wanted to get young lambs that I could train up so that it would be easier for me to be able to move them. Um, which so far that plan is working. I can get him to do whatever I need him to do. And the lambs, we're on what really this was day one, if you want to, because this is they're contained. I can work with them now. So I'm calling this day one with them and we made progress already. So I think we'll be all right. Um, Sid, will or do you need to swap out the lamb so there is no bad breeding? So I don't know what you mean by swap them out as far as like if there's anybody that has traits that are bad. So like as we breed, we will like if somebody, a lot of times with your first year of lambing, same with kidding with goats, you'll either, you have a higher chance of having stillborn or miscarriage, you have a higher chance of single births, things like that the first year. You can kind of have a pass on that the first year a little bit, right? The second year, if you breed them and they do not throw twins or have a rough pregnancy or um uh what do you call it? What do you call it when they I can't think of the word right now. It just went out of my head. When they kick their kid out and they won't let it nurse. I can't think of the word. It just went out of my head. My brain stopped. You know what I'm talking about. When they go, I disinherit you. Get out. When they give it the boot. What's the word I'm looking for? Somebody will say it. Anyway, um, if they're bad moms, essentially, um, they get cold from the herd. They will not be bred again. They're gonna get sold or they're gonna get chopped or they're gonna get something. Um, Same thing with Cy. If we breed him with all the girls and have evidence that he bred with all of them and they don't make no babies, then he's not a good baby daddy. Um, no, there's another word for it. I can't think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. It'll come to me in like 10 minutes. I'll blurt it out and it'll be weird, but yeah. Um, so um, yeah, it's gonna bug me until it does come to me. But anyway, um, yeah, basically, if they're a bad mom, they go to the kitchen. That's right. That's exactly right, Paul. They go to the auction house or they go to the kitchen. No, so you don't want to be mating siblings. So like for example, if Cy and we'll just say Milky Way because that's the only one that has a name and only because Frankie named it. If Cy and Milky Way have a daughter, okay, that first year, And let's say they have, um, like if they have, let's say they have a daughter and a son that year, okay? I would never keep both of them and breed them together, right? However, I would sell the ram, right? His son, I would sell the ram, I would keep the ewe, and I can breed him back to her. But I can't, but I'm not going to breed basically like straight across. You're not breeding um, siblings, but you can breed down like some people even do 2 generations. I think we're only going to do one, but um, I mean, that's how they get lines. That's how these registered lines are made. That's how all of that happens. And I know people are going to go, oh, it's incest, whatever. But when you're looking at animal husbandry, it's a little bit different. And the way that those lines go is how you can breed them. So if that makes sense, I probably just did a really bad job explaining that. But the short answer is yes, you can breed a father to a daughter. Um, and that's really the only situation that we would have where we would do that. We wouldn't be breeding. We're not going to keep any of the rams that he throws. Um, we'd only be keeping the ewes the first year, and they would all be breeders. And then the following year, his granddaughters that are thrown, those we would not be breeding back to him. We would sell and bring in some new stock if we wanted to continue to grow, if that makes sense. So I would go get some ewes from different lines and bring them into the herd. Hopefully I explained that well. Rejected, I think, is that the word I'm looking for? I think it is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word, but yeah, that's it. Sure. What's up, Ace? What's up? Anyway, so that's what's happening with that. But yeah, it's like that with a lot of livestock. You'll breed father to daughter is typical because usually, and it's like that with most livestock because usually even poultry and fowl, you'll have, depending on your numbers, you might have 1 or 2 males in your group or in your flock or in your herd or whatever, and you'll have like 10 or 15 females and they breed together. So your females are the ones that are giving the offspring, but these are your 2 main lines. And then you breed these guys to the daughters, but beyond that, you don't want to breed them together because that's when you're getting into some muddy waters. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is creepy to say, like, oh, you'll breed the father to the daughter. Like, it sounds creepy, but it's like it's not the same like with people where we're like, they're not raising them together. There's some genetic lines going there that it's different. So, and they would do that in nature, you know. Um, so I mean, that's just the way it works. Even look at herds, look at, you know, anything that lives out in nature, you have a smaller group of males typically. They fight to be whoever's dominant, and the dominant group is the one that mates with the females, and so on and so forth until the newer generation of males takes out the weaker ones, and then the process starts all over again. So, bummer lambs or bummers. That's right. That's right. Exactly. It's exactly how it works. Get a Ford. We're talking about trucks now? My goodness. Yeah, so that's, by this time next year we'll be, having lambing season. Um, so gives us plenty of time to work out some kinks and get ready for that. And, it's one of the reasons why we wanted to start with a handful of lambs and not a flock of 50. Like we saw a few people that were selling their whole herds for decent prices. And it was like, 100 head for whatever price and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, that's a good deal, but we're not ready for that because if you start small, you can only fail small. If you start big and you fail big, can you imagine if we had 100 lambs get out the other day instead of 5? Like that would have been that would have been a lot harder to corral them all and then to make sure you had them all. And, so yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. A rejected lamb is called a bummer lamb. Yeah. Yes. Like asking Mike a plant question. Yeah, exactly. He's got the plants on lock, although he's learning a lot about the sheep. Although I did school him on one thing the other day because he was asking, I forget how it even came up. And I was like, well, we'll paint him and then we put him in with the girls and then we'll be able to see who he was with. And he was looking at me funny and he was like, well, how are you going to know? And I was like, because we're going to paint him and we'll see it on their rear ends, like they'll have blue dab marks on them that, that he mounted them. And then whoever doesn't have one of those will lock them in a separate pen if need be, submit to ensure that he does the deed. And he was like, oh, I didn't know about that. Well, I warmed your seat up for you.
Perfect.
Oh, Lordy.
Man.
There's like a crevasse right here.
A crevasse?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Okay, now you've made me move from there. Don't take your reading glasses off because I can't see that now.
Okay, that's cool. Already coming.
You're way closer than me.
Let's see here. Bummer lambs or bummers? Bummer lambs or bummers?
If they reject it, they call it a bummer lamb.
If they reject what?
If they reject the lamb. Like a rejected, like a bum,
Yeah, I like plant questions.
Well, he was saying I explained the thing about
coyotes
the lamb.
Will be more, yeah. Yeah, I mean, coyotes do like lambs, but that's why we got a couple of big dogs. That's why we got the
dogs, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, win the mutton, get in the veggie patch. Oh yeah, I ain't playing that game this year.
Yeah, no, we got everything electrified and yeah, nobody's
Actually, Layla had an incredibly good idea yesterday, was it?
I don't know.
That new electric poultry netting that we just bought. I need to put one in front of the garden.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was like, duh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, we bought a bunch of fencing yesterday, electric pieces and stuff. Yeah,
we're investing in infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell you what, fun. It's not gonna pay off for a couple years.
Yeah, but that's
we have to be able to manage 5 sheep, and then we have to be able to manage 15 sheep, and then we have to be able to manage 25 sheep, and start looking at sheep handling systems and figure out how to build a sheep handling system with.
I sent you an email about something I found.
I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good for sheep. It's good for horses.
Well, I didn't know if they had different sizes, and I just saw the first one, and I was like, oh, maybe they have other sizes. Okay, never mind. It was worth a shot.
But yeah, I mean, the investment we made yesterday was nothing compared to now we have to build. Soon we have to build a sheep handling system.
Oh, I can't even repeat that. But that is not what I said. I was talking about the livestock, not about my husband.
Cracky.
I don't have to give him sweet feed to do
that. They are hair sheep. Yep.
Yeah, they're Katahdin.
Reverend Joe Jacobson.
Yeah, they're Katahdin. They're a hair breed. They're naturally polled. They don't need their hooves trimmed. They're pretty parasite resistant. They're pretty.
I mean, as far as sheep go, they're not as parasite resistant as cattle, but for sheep they are fairly parasite resistant. Parasites are still always.
I mean, that's always a thing. Yeah, it's always at pigs too. I mean, it's always. Yeah, it's always a thing. But
Neil, you worried about chickens jumping over? Yeah, they will.
They will.
They will. I got 48-inch high. They call it poultry netting.
It's taller than the one we have out there now.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice,
yeah.
And for the most of the birds stay in there, but you're not keeping chickens in that if they don't want to stay.
I will say that the one that we just got yesterday, which I don't know what brand it is, Gallagher brand. It's taller and the squares are smaller on it. Like it's a tighter woven electric thing. I feel like it would hold birds better in than the Premier poultry netting. The Premier poultry netting has different sizes that get bigger, and they get stuck in that fence. They hop over it. It's
Yeah, so
not
we're going to be
yeah.
testing your theory because we're going to use the new netting to set up their new spot
And then take the other
and
one
then
down.
take the other one down.
Gotcha.
And then I'll probably take one of those ones that we take down and put it in front of the garden for now so that I don't have to build a fence there.
Yeah.
Okay. And eventually I need to build a fence there, but
yeah.
And then we'll have one for urgent situations.
Your current fencing is 7 feet tall and they're still flying over it. I mean, you can always, what I have done in the past when we lived in California and I had to kind of keep them in a certain area because they were getting over into the pool and we didn't want them in the pool. I would grab them and just clip the one wing. Like I would clip everybody's left wing.
Yeah.
And just do that every few months. And that's really all you can do when it comes to chickens. Because some chickens, like certain breeds, like your Americanas are flightier. Some of your barred rocks can be a little bit flightier.
Yeah, if you have a coop,
your olive eggers,
that you can catch them in.
Yeah.
You know,
or that they go up in at night.
You know, they go up in there, just shut the door and
then
go in from the other way. Hopefully, if you have a door, catch them. Just cut one wing. Don't cut them both.
Yeah.
Cut one wing, and they won't get over a 7-foot fence if they're clipped like that.
Yeah, they should.
But they grow back.
They do. You got every couple months. You got to check on them because they grow back faster than you think. And if they molt, they come back even faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they go through a molt, you're like, oh, gotta. As soon as they grow back in, you know.
Out here making bird Alcatraz. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Although we got rid of most of the birds that are a problem.
Oh, you're worried about keeping bobcats or coyotes out, not keeping the birds in.
Oh, well, yeah. Then you that a 7-foot electric fence should keep them.
Yeah.
At bay.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, neither bobcoats, and coyotes.
Sure.
Neither of those two animals, neither cat nor dog, like electricity. So.
However, even with that, like if they can crawl, like if something like a possum or a skunk or a raccoon can crawl up on around that, like on the side of the building and get up on the roof or anything and get in your coop somewhere there, they could still be a threat because they're smart. They'll figure it out and they'll try to get in.
Won't they fly in circles? Nah, it doesn't work like that.
It just kind of.
They just can't get lift on one side.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so they don't get
chickens already don't fly very well.
Yeah.
They fly well enough to get over something.
They can get up 3 or 4 feet and fly straight for a bit if they're really determined.
Like a short bit, like across the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not real. Yeah, they're not really
designed to fly.
They're not really flyers.
They're not. Like if you look at them, they're not very aerodynamic.
They're designed to make it a little ways.
Yeah.
So when you cut one of those wings, you're just preventing them from getting enough lift on one side. Now they got to overwork that side, but they work them together, and they're not smart enough to figure it out, and so they just can't get up.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But if you trim them both, then they're equal, and they can kind of get around it. Some birds can.
Some birds can get a little bit of lift if you trim them equal.
Yeah. True that.
But yeah, bobcoats and coyotes. Oh, I did it again.
What is wrong with you?
Bobcoats and coyotes. I have no idea.
So,
but I feel like I'm going to make a shirt. Bobcoats and coyotes.
Okay. Nobody will know what you're talking about.
No, that's all right. They're no joke.
Oh, Mike from DV5 has a rooster that keeps getting out and attacking him. That sounds like it's time to make stew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's
when they start attacking.
We don't accept that.
I will say, though, that, Rico that we lost, I think my exotic bird is a barred rock rooster in this batch. So it's like a new Rico. We'll see. We'll see if he's a handsome boy too.
Yeah, but look, as far as I'm concerned, all the animals are livestock. They're livestock, so they have to be you got to weigh the pros and cons about everything all the time. And if you've got one of them that's problematic, like a rooster that's or any livestock that's problematic, you got to decide whether it needs to go. You can't spend too much time trying to manage one thing and not have enough time to manage all the other things.
Yeah.
Paul.
Rico was a cool looking rooster. He was. Barred Rock Rooster is better than a darn flamingo. Never.
I agree. Anything's better than a darn flamingo.
You say that, but you don't mean
Chicken snake's better than a darn flamingo.
Stop it. That's not true. But yeah.
Sid had the idea yesterday to pile a big old wood pile up right against the chicken run.
Listen,
She thought that would be a great idea.
I was trying to think of where I could put it that would be out of your way, and I wasn't thinking at the time. It had been a very long day.
So this is what's funny, is I'm the one that has too much stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting rid of things sometimes. Not to the point that I'm a hoarder. Just some things I'm like, man, I'm gonna need that.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm not talking like empty toilet paper rolls or then weird like that.
I mean, there will be some scraps of wood, but they do end up getting used.
Yeah. Like I when it comes to construction materials, I keep stuff. Well, we got this giant load of wood, of just dead wood off of our buddy's property for Freedom Weekend last year.
Yeah.
And then we never had a bonfire.
Yeah.
So we have this pile of wood in our backyard right up against the base
birds
of
made
an oak
nests
tree.
in it. They laid clutches.
Yeah.
Like
So we finally got the birds out of it.
Yeah.
And now I was saying, this week I want Frankie to take the grapple and take that pile one trip at a time over to this ditch that I want to burn and just put it in that ditch. And all of a sudden Sid wanted to keep it. She's like, well, we went through all that effort to get it. And
we did.
It's
it was
good
like
firewood.
A whole thing. And yes, it is.
And where can we keep it? So then she starts having ideas about where we could put it. And I was
Mind
like,
you, we don't have a fire pit.
We don't have a fire pit. We don't have a fireplace.
We got nothing. I don't know. It just made me feel
We've never made a bonfire since we moved here.
Yeah, because it's hot.
Right.
In the summer.
And it's too cold in the winter. When are you gonna have a bonfire?
I mean, I would have one in the winter.
Would you though?
I would, because I like to sit outside. We just didn't entertain much.
We need a reminder of that this winter. When she's like, no way, it's too cold out there. I wouldn't go out there.
I wanted to bring our little fire thing, but we didn't bring it because you said it was going to break.
It was pretty burnt out.
Well, it was terracotta, so it was going
to
break. But anyway, I would have another one of those out here because I like to sit on the front porch and I would have a little fire.
Well, yeah, but we can't do it on the front porch.
No, but I mean, I would put it out.
So now you have to sit on the back porch in the wintertime, which is not something that you would do. It's too much of a change to
Why can't I just put the fire
out in the middle of the front yard?
Yeah.
Where you're not going to get any heat off of it. It's pointless.
Listen, it's pretty to look at. Listen,
I know you well enough. It's not going to work.
I know.
It's not going to happen. No. It's not going to happen.
Listen, a girl can dream. Stop. It's fine. I don't need fire. It's fine. You're a wood hoarder? Yeah. I bet. Sid saying ain't so. No, he definitely has his fair share of stuff. And he's gotten better in some ways and worse in others. Like when we first met, he had a storage unit, and he had a lot of stuff in there. Like weird stuff. Like random camping supplies and utensils for things.
Somebody raise your hand when she says something weird, because she said weird stuff and now she's saying smart stuff.
But it was really weird odds and ends of nothing was, I don't know. But anyway, he got rid of some of it. And then now he has a lot of tools and there's fishing gear that he's accumulated over the last 20 years.
There's all good stuff.
Yeah, I'm not saying that stuff's weird. I'm just saying there's a lot of it.
Sure.
Because there's just accumulated. And then we schlepped it across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm winning. If I had just a few tools or just a little bit of fishing gear, I would not be succeeding in life.
There's 3 days available in October for fires. That's true.
Sure, actually more around here, more like November. It's still pretty hot in October.
Not always.
Oh yeah.
September is for sure, but October's not.
Oh yeah.
I was already wearing sweaters in October this year.
I broke a sweat during deer season this year.
Tim's alive.
For now, what's going on, brother? I hope all is well there. I think, let's see, what time is it? 6:42. I think the worst of it's going to hit you about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what
and it's going to be bad.
Well, he said it was east of him earlier, but I don't know which direction it was moving. I thought it was supposed to be moving east.
Moving northeast.
No.
So, yeah, I'm a little nervous about your situation up there, brother.
Mike and Terry, what's going on? I'm on my phone listening, so I can't keep up with the chat, says Mike and Terry.
That's cool.
No worries. I feel you.
So you had it all in a 30 by 30 shop building and claimed to be sorting it all out. That's
That's
basically
accurate.
exactly
I mean,
what I do.
listen, he is putting things away and like organizing things, but you have to understand, like when we moved, Mike, like I packed the kitchen, I packed like the bedding stuff and like the house, like, the cleaning supplies and the sheets and the towels and the stuff,
You
right?
did a good job.
Thank you. And Mike was like, I'll pack my stuff, like the tools and the shed. Well, then he forgot about half of it until the day before and went, oh my God, I never packed the shed. And then it became a throw everything in the thing as fast as we can. So things didn't get organized. Some of the tools and things didn't get organized the way that we probably would have wanted them to on the way over here. So that meant when everything got unloaded, obviously.
You just made me sound like an idiot.
No.
You did.
He
The
was
way
busy.
you
No,
said
I didn't
that.
sound like an idiot,
It's like,
man.
Mike, you're a dumbass.
No, like he was busy. Like he had to work. Like literally, he took off, what was it, 5 days total? Not even 4 days. He had, and that was including the 3 days that it took us to drive here from work. So he had no time before to like leisurely pack up his stuff. And he had started sorting it and then got busy. We were worried about other things and it just wasn't on
There was
his
a
radar.
lot to do.
Yeah,
and apparently the part that I had to do was done horribly.
No,
So.
babe, that's not what I'm saying.
That's not
That's not what I'm
what I
saying. No,
heard.
I'm saying that's why when it got here, it was disorganized, and that's why he's now having to
No,
organize
it was disorganized and is disorganized because I am not as organized a person as you are.
Well, I was trying to make you sound better by saying it was like.
I'd rather just be honest and say
I mean,
there's a certain amount of
organization
organization that is I don't find necessary. I know where everything is. It's over in that box over there. Just scroll down to the bottom. The one with all the spiders in it. At the bottom of that box is the screwdriver you're looking for.
That's accurate.
That's
accurate. Yeah. He's a little, he forgets where things are sometimes, but sometimes he knows where things are. You never know. But
I
anyway,
didn't realize this was a roast mic live.
It's
I would have
not.
stayed out of it
Oh
and
my
just
God,
let you have your
I'm not,
time here.
babe, I'm not trying to roast you at all. I'm literally like defending you as to why he was saying, oh, are you just saying you have to move it around? I'm saying because when it all got here, it got just kind of unloaded from the cargo container and
we moved.
Yeah, it's messy.
If you've moved before,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And it was not like a kind of move where, like before when we moved, I was able to like have access to both places each time and like take things over in stages.
A few miles up the road, and we took 2 weeks to move.
Yeah, and I could do it in stages, and like it wasn't a big deal. This was like everything has to be out on this day, and then drive for 2,000 miles. So yeah, that's all. That's all. Every so often you have to have what we call a death cleaning. If you haven't used or touched it in many years, it gets tossed away. Yeah. I do that with certain things, but then
there's certain things I will not
certain things that you can't get rid of because there's some stuff you don't use very often, like certain kitchen things that I don't use super often, but I still when I use them, I use them.
Tools that I've not used in the last few years, but they're specialty tools that at some point I will need. I have fishing equipment that I haven't used in several years, but at some point I'm going to be on a topwater bite and I'm going to want that torpedo. I've got guns that I haven't used in several years, but at some point I'm going to be like, dude, let's go hunting with the 16 gauge today. I know we don't normally, shells are harder to get and more expensive. We don't normally use it, but I have a guitar. I have a guitar that I haven't used in 10 years.
The white one?
Yeah.
The one that's signed?
Yeah. Fender Telecaster.
I haven't seen that guitar in forever. I don't even know where it is.
Really?
Is it hanging on your wall?
In my shop. I'm in my office. But no, I don't subscribe to the if you haven't used it in several years.
If it doesn't give you joy, get it.
But I do subscribe to that for certain things. Like if you're going through stuff in boxes in the shop and you find an 8-year-old label maker that they probably don't even make labels for anymore, and you haven't needed it or used it, then yeah, get rid of it.
I forgot where a screwdriver is when it's sitting right next to me. Yeah, I do that too. That's like when you're wrapping presents and at one point every 30 seconds you lose the tape and you lose the scissors every time. because then they're right there somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. Or for some reason you take it with you when you go to the bathroom. Like you're holding the tape and then the phone rings and you answer the phone.
Oh, and you
then
walk off with
hang
it.
up the phone and you still got this thing in your hand and then you're like, nah, I gotta
Yeah,
take a leak before I get
Mike's
started back at
notorious
it.
for carrying strange things around and then setting them down in weird places and then being like, I don't know, I just had it. Like, where'd it
Yeah,
go?
and it's in the fridge.
Yeah, it'll be like somewhere really weird, and I'll like follow behind him, retracing his steps, and I'll be like, it's up there. I don't know why it's up on top of the entertainment center, but there it is. Like, it'll be like weird stuff. Yeah. Yep. Never know. You never know.
Okay, let's talk about animals or plants or something instead of everything that Mike fails at that you're able to just rescue me from or fix or solve.
I'm not.
It's like, holy cow!
Babe, I'm not saying
Like the micros.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Put some ketchup on that. Ketchup and mustard on that
like
mic.
Ketchup.
Damn.
Well, maybe later.
Golly.
Well, you can roast me. What do I do?
I choose not to make you feel like that.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad. That was not my goal. Oh my goodness. Oh, I do that at least once a day when I can't find my glasses. I did it the other day. I went to go sign for something and I couldn't find my glasses. And then I was like, oh my gosh, where'd I leave them? And I was like, oh, they're on my head.
Yeah, guns, tools, knives.
I can't say I've ever taken tape with me to the bathroom. Yeah, that was a weird overshare. You know when you take the tape in with you to the bathroom? Nope, I don't know that. I believe you. Guns and tools and stuff like that will be my son's one day for him to worry about. That's right. Yeah, you can't get rid of everything. Certain things you got to keep. And there's certain things too, like certain shoes and maybe dresses that you don't wear very often, but they're kind of like timeless. But I know if I need to go to a wedding in 3 years, I can wear it.
Oh yeah, if it still fits, but
yeah,
like I've got bags of clothes out in the garage that don't fit me. That there is zero chance I'm ever going to wear again. I just have to go through them and figure out what I want to get rid of.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Some of it's like your old band stuff that you never wear. Yeah.
There's so many boxes of stuff in the garage that right now, if I had time to sort through it, I could get rid of a bunch of it.
Yeah, there might be like a couple things in there that he'll want to keep, but for the most part, not. But
yeah, I might keep like the shirt that I was wearing when we opened for Charlie Daniels, even though I could never wear that shirt again.
I don't even know what shirt that was. I don't remember.
I
don't remember what you wore that day.
I think I remember, but I have pictures.
Yeah.
So I can identify. I have all my old gig shirts.
Oh yeah.
And
except for the ones that got ripped off of you by the groupies.
They probably fit Frankie now.
No. You were bigger than Frankie.
Do I have any bell bottoms in storage?
No.
There's a possibility I have a couple pairs of navy dungarees.
Yeah.
There's a possibility.
I've never seen
I hope not. I hope I still don't have any of my navy uniforms.
I don't think you do.
I would think I got rid of those a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them in any of them.
Because there's zero chance I'm ever. I was 140 pounds in boot camp. I don't even want to look at clothes that I wore when I was 18 ever. I don't even want to know.
I still have shoes from when I was that old, I think. Oh, blessed. Mike, how was your birthday?
It was great. It was great.
You want to elaborate?
We got
No.
She asked, "How was your birthday?" Okay. She didn't ask, "What did you do on your birthday?" or Studio 3. I don't know if that's a he or she.
It's a studio. It's an inanimate object.
No, it was a great day. We had friends over. Mm-hmm. I went to a lodge down in some town that I don't know the name of.
You were in Montpelier.
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 Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
To see a guy get his Master Mason degree. He was a guy that I'd worked with a little bit during the training process and the learning process. So it was nice to see him go through that third degree and then we were there like a large part of the day. That is a lengthy ordeal, and it didn't start. It was supposed to start at 1 in the afternoon. It didn't start till like 2. So we were supposed to be back here at the house. We had like 24 people coming over to barbecue at 5, but I don't think we really got here.
You didn't get here till after 6.
Yeah, but then we got the barbecue going. We had good people
Yeah,
over.
we had a good time.
Frankie's boyfriend's parents came over, so it was the first time really hanging out with them.
Well, we'd hung out with the mom, but we hadn't hung out with the dad.
So that was cool, and yeah, it was good. Made some amazing hamburgers, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
I have a bunch of coveralls that were my dad's when he was on subs, but my stomach outgrew them. Yeah. Frankie has your military jacket though. That says,
Oh, I do have
she
one.
does have that.
I have one camouflage cold weather jacket that there's no way I could put on. It fits Frankie.
It fits Frankie and I, but like
it's got my name and
yeah,
and everything else.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Tornado
in Monette, Arkansas. Not near me, says Ace.
Monette.
Oh.
On the ground now.
My son got out of the army and blew up weight. He's lost over 65 pounds now. Oh, that's great.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Right on. I know you guys were talking about it a minute ago. Does anybody know if DD5 is going to go live at 7 or not? I know that they've got weather.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if they are. They may not be going live.
Is Tim still in here? Somebody that can look at the weather app, take a look and let us know how things look around the Fort Smith area.
Well, I know it was hitting them hard earlier, but that was a while ago. Nobody's chimed in on there, so it must be okay.
Feel like they
haven't posted
the band of storms should be past them and closer to eastern Arkansas now, but I don't know how wide it was. You know, it's moving north and east. So I don't know. I'm just happy that it's missing us this time for the most part. But what's interesting is if you understand the science of how these particular tornadic storms develop, it has to do with cold air coming down from the north, and not only warm air coming up from the Gulf, but warm, wet air, right?
It's all south of them, they said.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay.
So when you got the warm, extremely wet, you know, high humidity air coming off the Gulf, wherever it meets the cold front coming down, that's where you're going to have the massive turbulence. So what's interesting is even though this storm is missing us, it is windy here, and the wind is blowing from the south to the north towards the storm, and it is hot and muggy out there. It's like a summer day in Mississippi right now.
But it looks like winter out there. Like,
oh yeah, if you look out the window from inside,
gray,
in here with the air conditioner on, it's like, ew, it looks like a winter day out there.
Yeah.
But you step out there and you're in a sweat box.
You're like, ooh.
And the wind is just blowing that hot air right towards that storm.
Fort Smith is clear. Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
Good. Woke up to 74 degrees and then an hour later it was 62. Yeah, it's weird weather. It's going to be weird weather the next few days between the temps being all over the place and then these storms
it's going to be
through. It's kind of
this is going to be bad storms for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, in various places.
It's moist. That's right, Don.
The worst.
It's like swamp butt. It's like that kind of moist.
Yeah. Wow. You went there.
Well,
the worst of it is honestly is probably that I can see is probably going to be of all of us, Tim, in Ridge Life in West Tennessee. Yeah, West Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't say West Tennessee.
I know it's because he's not where you're from.
Because I'm from East Tennessee. So
you're used to saying East
I'm
Tennessee.
from East Tennessee. No, but Tim's from West Tennessee, which isn't even Tennessee as far as I'm concerned. Memphis is there, but he's not from Memphis.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Close enough to go with it. But hey, listen. All jokes aside, y'all take a minute and say a little prayer for the folks in the path of the storm right now. It's there. You know, they were saying today that this is like a 1% weather event. So once in 100 years, but it's not really once in 100 years. It just means any given year there's a 1% chance that we could have this weather.
Yeah.
And Tim kind of sitting in the crosshairs right now. So, yeah.
They're aiming for him. Yeah. Well, guys, it's about our time to get out of here. I don't know if DD5 is going live tonight because of the storm and life. I have no idea. They haven't posted anything yet, but maybe that's changed. I don't know. So if not, I know there's Pretty and Pooch at 7, and then you got MT Homestead at 8, and Brian's Vineyard Farmhouse at 9. So Owasso got hit. Yeah. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. And I will be posting a video on Friday on 3 Mississippi and on Sunday, most likely.
Yes. And a prayer for everybody in the path of storms right now. Little prayer for Tim out there.
That's right.
Because God's up there right now going, safety's off.
Oh, my goodness. Good night, guys.